And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the very first edition of Harris and Hampton with Rockemore. Uh, we're debuting tonight here on tonight. We're actually on the African American Athlete Network. Uh, we'll continue to broadcast from here, but we're also you can also be able to check us out at Sports Fluent, and we'll be giving you more information on that to come. You guys know me; I'm Rickey Hampton, longtime sports columnist, author. Now I got to get used to saying that, JD.
That's right. Sounds
It
good, doesn't it?
sounds good, man.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
say
there you
author.
go.
I look around. Of course, I told you guys about my upcoming book, Coming and Rising, the extraordinary story of Ted Rose Golf Course. I want to also introduce you to my great friend, JD Harris, John Harris, uh, award winning sports columnist and an author, one of my mentors as I was writing Cumberland Rising. And JD, we've been friends for woo, too many years to say.
Let's just say a nice long time.
And we're like this. When we both met, neither one of us had great beards, man.
No, we didn't, man. Now
But
we trying to
JD and I
style,
both,
now we trying to style and profile with it now, man. That's,
absolutely, brother. We go a long ways back, man.
yeah,
And JD, really, you and I were part of that first group of African American
yeah,
sports writers to come through in the country. And now you turn on TV now, you see black journalists all the time. But when we came through in the starting in the '80s, man, you saw a brother at a game, man. You went up and shook his hand, said, "How you doing?"
yeah, yeah. You remember the early years when we used to go to NABJ conference, we'd have a sports task force meeting. Everybody would get together and write their names down on a little raggedy piece of paper.
Yeah,
That was, sometimes how many names did you see there? Maybe 10, maybe
yeah.
20. And that
I,
was it. That's how we communicated, right?
I
We
think
communicated that way.
you and I are part of the original sports task force
Yeah,
for
that's right.
for NABJ. But when you see that now, uh, do you when you see all these young guys out here, does it make give you a little sense of pride knowing you were part of that?
It's nice to know that that it has grown, and it's in one way it's not as big a deal as it was then. I mean, it's more natural. It's almost like the way I look at it now. I know that black quarterbacks are now arriving in the NFL because now you got
Yeah,
journeyman black quarterbacks starting.
yeah.
When you couldn't get the star black quarterbacks to play now it's no big deal. Backup black quarterback, a guy who maybe not be great. That's when you know that you've kind of made it, right? So now there's black sports journalists, now print journalists, and now with video and everything else, it's really grown to a magnitude that I never imagined, back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great point. And I mentioned that JD was an author, and this is JD's book, Tomlin, the soul of a football coach. And JD, you have a new
Yeah,
edition of
yeah.
Tom.
Here it is right now. You got it's paperback edition. You can see got the little red dot there, the updated version of it. It's the same book. The paperback has a little bit different information, but that came out a couple weeks ago, and starting to do some events with that, and hoping to generate some buzz with some of the new information in it. But yeah, it's exciting. Anytime you see a work that you did, and you're going through that now with your book and the accomplishment and being able to relay your message to people, I think is really exciting. One of the things of being an author is that you're able to get people interested in something that was interested to you, and they get to maybe know you a little bit better and get to know your story.
What made you decide to do an addition to it?
That was more the publisher. The book did well, and whenever that happens, they look at a paperback. The reality of it is, though, it's different than a traditional paperback or second edition because it's not a lot of times the paperback version is the same exact book.
Right.
Nothing's different. This book is different because I have a few new chapters in it. I've got some news items as far as how to update the last 2 years that wasn't in the original book. And I do a new introduction where I talk about it's Mike Tomlin is a little different right now than he was 2 years ago. I see now nationally. I saw something the other day where people say, "Well, hey, maybe he might go to the Giants
I heard
with
that.
Brian Daboll again." People never said that about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin was Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, but now the team is 5-4. They've been up and down. Pittsburgh folks are going crazy. They've been wanting him gone for a long time. So the pressure seems to be rising a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how 5-4-9. So you got 8 more games. These next 8 games are going to be very interesting with them, and now with the Baltimore Ravens kind of getting hot in the division, it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that spot at the top of the AFC North.
But one thing I've never understood is the animus toward this man. I mean, Steelers fans, you guys hadn't been in an NFL city where teams don't win and teams don't get to the playoffs. I mean, Detroit's been good. I'm here in Detroit, as our viewers know. They struggled for years, man. They would love to have that situation. They got a very stable franchise now, led by Brad Holmes, the general manager, North Carolina A&T grad. I always try to throw that in there, JD.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell gets all the love. Hey, Campbell's a really good coach.
Yep.
The mastermind behind this is Brad Holmes. But back to my point, until you've been in a town where you're out of the race in October,
yeah,
you don't know how good you got it. I'm telling you now.
Well, you got to remember, Steelers fans are spoiled. I mean, I don't think they've had a losing season since 2003, maybe. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
A losing season.
Yeah.
Just a team they haven't had a losing. Now they're upset because the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. But the organization has not had a losing season since 2003, I believe. So you're talking about over 2 decades. So these people are spoiled, man. They're spoiled.
Yeah, I get that, but Steelers fans, it ain't nearly as bad as you might think. I can tell you that. But anyway, that's great to have the edition come out. And where can people pick it up, JD?
Oh, all the traditional, spots. The Amazon, Barnes and Noble, independent booksellers. And I always like to point people towards the African American booksellers in individual cities. I know I've talked to a lot of them who are interested in ordering the book and having it on their shelves, and because they talk a lot about the issue they have now with Amazon is just taking over book sales, and then people, even with Black authors, maybe have an event, they always tell people, hey, you can get it for Amazon. They're like, hey, you can buy it from us too, and they're fighting that battle, in the publishing industry for Black booksellers. It's a fight, like almost everything else. It's a battle for them to stay afloat and to get their share of the pie.
I'm going to call you off after the show, or maybe tomorrow, to talk to you about that piece you just mentioned about the Black booksellers, because that's something I might be interested in with my with my project. But JD, we got the NBA season off to a start. We're about 10 games in, and what's been your overall thoughts of the season so far?
Well, I think we shared a couple of text messages. I have become a unabashed Oklahoma City homer, Thunder homer. I love the way they play. And the irony is that I had heard about them. I didn't really ever really watch them until the
Right.
playoffs last year. I really had not seen. I saw
Right.
they had a great record, all blah blah blah, and this guy named Shea Gilgeous, but I
Right.
really had not watched him play. So I was just kind of mesmerized by their playoff run, just the way they put their team together, a team, a real team actually, and our Tendex rating system. When I sat down and did their rating, their rating was just way higher than any other team. Then I really started paying attention to it. Then I put it in a historical frame, and their regular season last year was the fourth best in league history since 1980, which told me they were right up there with those great Bull teams and some of the great Lakers teams. I'm just going by the numbers, and they are off to what they play the Lakers tonight. Actually, 11-1
Right. They're
start.
11-1 going
They
into
won their
the
first
Lakers
eight,
tonight.
and they've had several starters, including Jalen Williams, who I guess their
Yeah.
second best player, who has not played this year.
He
So
hasn't even
their
played.
confidence level has just gone to a whole new level after winning the championship. And guys off the bench are very confident now in playing. And when you go back to Shea, what I've noticed about him this year, he would shoot the 3-pointer occasionally. Now I see him just coming down shooting the three. So clearly that's something he worked on in the offseason. He is now a legitimate 3-point threat, which just makes him really dangerous. I think he's had 10 30-point games,
That's crazy.
and he doesn't even play like 30 minutes. He sits on the bench in the fourth quarter a lot of these games. It's
Yeah.
remarkable to me. It really
And,
is.
and not only that, they are still loaded with draft picks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they can manipulate that roster any way they want.
It's interesting. What's happening is I think it's been 7 or 8 straight years now. International players have won MVPs in the
Right.
NBA, which to me it should be scary to American basketball fans, because if you look at OKC, you got Shea, you've got Lou Dort. There are 2 or 3 Canadian players on that team, international players. Obviously at Denver, Jokic has won MVPs. I'm telling you, I think
Giannis won
they're a little
MVP.
bit different mindset. There's a different mindset with the international player. Have you noticed it? It's just a
Yeah.
little bit different than the American player.
Yeah. You've had Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
Joker, uh, uh, Shea,
Lakers guy,
Giannis,
Giannis, and who's our guy with the Lakers who got traded.
Luca.
Yeah, those are your MVPs.
And that's why I do a show on Sports Fluent with former Bucks center Paul Mokeski,
Yeah,
and he's saying the USA will be an underdog going into the Olympics. And
I agree. Because all those great players, LeBron, uh, Durant, Curry, they're going to be a lot older at the
right,
next Olympics, right? They're
right,
not going to be in their prime anymore. And you're talking about the guys we're naming. I mean, Canada is going to be a legitimate threat in the next Olympics with the players. They've got a lot of really good players in the NBA from Canada. So they've just evolved internationally. And it seems like the NBA players have they're still great American players, don't get me wrong.
right.
But it's definitely changed. It definitely has changed.
And JD, you mentioned you talked about your Tendex rating earlier, and we've had you on our show, and folks, Tendex, it is remarkable the accuracy of this program that JD has been implementing into his reporting for what 30 years now.
Yeah, maybe.
And,
Yeah,
and
very close.
this is not analytics. Explain it because we got a new audience coming in, JD.
Yeah,
So explain it to everybody
yeah.
and why you
Tendex,
believe in it so much.
yeah. Simply put, Tendex is a point per minute rating system where people go off of, they look at a guy's scoring average, assists, rebounds. Oh, he averages 25 points. That tells you he's a good player. Well, Tendex takes every player's statistics, good and bad. They take every team. Every team has its own game pace. They play at different speeds. Some get more possessions, some get less, and they factor it in. They also factor in the opponent's rating, and you come up with a 3-digit number, like a batting average in baseball. And players are identified by their Tendex rating. And it goes, and then it goes. We're able to compare centers with guards with forwards, which is often very difficult to do because we compare Tendex ratings, and each position has a different, has a different like a average
Value.
rating.
Right.
So and then so we don't look at we don't we can, as far as comparing Embiid and Shea Gilgeous, we'll see how many points above his guard average Shea is, and we'll see how many points above center Embiid is. So say Shea is point plus 300 above his average, and Embiid is plus 200 above his average. So we're going to put Shea as a better player according to Tendex, even though they play different positions. So Tendex allows you to look at different positions, and so you see, because it's hard to match up who's better, a guard or a center. They're different positions,
Right.
but you can look at
The
their
value.
effectiveness,
Right.
and it also tells you team who are the best teams. I remember last year going into the playoffs, I had of the teams going into the playoffs. I had the Lakers. I think they were next to last team rating going into the playoffs. Some people were predicting they were going to go to the finals, and they got knocked out in the first round. A lot of people were surprised, but Tendex said, "Well, their rating just isn't that good." So I got to trust what Tendex is telling me because it's been doing it for 30, 40 years. So Tendex kind of takes the guesswork out of it, takes the emotion out of it. I can debate with the best of them, but I can toss in Tendex as an added bonus that a lot of people can't do.
Yeah. And like you said, well, I can tell the viewers from our conversation here, it is remarkably accurate. I want to, now that we got it on that subject, I'm interested to see how the Pistons are rated here. But they got off to this hot start. They got half the team out tonight. They had half the team out the other night. Uh,
Yeah,
I actually watched the game the other night, and
yeah.
uh, Kate Cunningham put up 45,
I'm
45.
impressed with him, man. I saw him play the other day against Utah. I didn't realize he could shoot like that.
Yeah,
He's got a game.
he he did, man. He had an off night shoot. He missed 31 shots. But what people are saying, he had to take those 45 because
Right.
everybody's out, and he's actually out tonight.
Oh
But
wow.
how do they rank in the
I
tennis?
have.
Have you got into the season yet?
Yeah, you know what? I'll come up. I'll have a list for next week. We'll go over the ratings.
Okay.
Remember we talked about it last
Well, we're
year.
just 10 games in.
Yeah, remember last year I told you going into that playoff round, it was very close to team ratings, but I think it was the Knicks, right? They lost to the
Right.
Knicks.
That's
I
right.
think I told you the Knicks. It was very close. I mean,
They
if
could
they
have
had won
easily.
that series, it would not have been an upset according to Index. And the series was it went to 7 games, right?
Yeah,
It
went to
went to
7 games,
limit.
and they blew one
So the
here.
Index said these are two evenly matched teams. Now, but outside people were saying, "Oh, the Knicks have got it,"
You
but
kill them.
Index
Yeah.
doesn't do that. Index just looks at the numbers and the performance by each team. And it's funny you mentioned Cade. The one thing about Shea that's really scary, he's getting like Index is a point per minute system. So he's had games where he scored 28 points in 28 minutes.
Right.
That's frightening.
That's
I mean,
literally a point.
you know what I'm saying? Some guys might play 37 minutes, 45 minutes. He's getting points that so I know him and Jokic, I'm not sure, and I think the guard with Philly is playing really well. But from a performance efficiency standpoint, if he's able to keep up that pace, it's frightening what kind of season Shea could have. Because if he's that effective in limited minutes, I mean, that's
Yeah.
and he stays healthy, and their young guys continue to develop, and they get Jalen Williams
They
back.
gonna get Williams back. Right.
Man, I mean, they seem driven. They seem driven to prove all the because all we hear about Shea is he's a foul free throw merchant. That's all we hear. Oh, he's a free throw merchant. So I think they got that. I think they're wearing that. I think they're hearing it, and they want to stick it to everybody. Okay, all right, I got your free throw merchant right here, and they're
And
motivated. They're
going back to
motivated.
going back to our earlier conversation, The last MVP from America is James Harden in 2018.
Wow.
Since then, you had Giannis, Joker, Embiid, Joker, and Shea.
Scary, man. And do you see anybody else getting that this year out of that? I don't
No,
see anybody leapfrogging that. Do you?
no, no.
I mean, American player. I don't see it
Shea
right
is
now.
Shea and the Joker are going to be right there, and so is Giannis. Those
Giannis, yeah.
same
And,
three
and,
guys.
and what's name in the Lakers? He's putting up phenomenal numbers.
Yeah.
If
Uh,
they have a good season, so those got to be your front runners right now.
yeah. What did you think about the Dallas situation, JD?
You know, I don't know. Everything I've been hearing is that what Nico Harrison got fired, the general manager who made the trade. That apparently the new ownership came in. They were not happy with having to possibly play Luka Doncic, what, about $350 million. And he was a great player, but there's been issues with his conditioning, his
Right.
weight, and I think the new ownership decide. I can't believe Nico Harrison just, he said,
Okay.
to me it's like
I'm saying.
it's like these college coaches that get off, for some type of cheating violation. They didn't know anything about it, and the assistant gets fired. Like with the Rick Pitino at Louisville. He didn't know anything about it. The assistant just did it on his own one day, rogue assistant. You know what, I'm just going to heck with the head coach. I'm just going to just get these young ladies up in the room and hide them
Right.
from Rick. So now this general manager just trades his superstar, fan favorite, just for the heck of it on his own. And it
You know
doesn't
what?
work out. It blows up. And now they fire him.
It's stunning to me that hadn't been more of a media focus. How everybody's just Nico, you did it. I mean, I get it. He takes the bullet, but does anybody not look in depth to think that, hey, you know what? This guy, it's nowhere in the world he pulled the trigger on something that massive without going to the owner. It's
It's like
impossible.
the Northwestern football coach just got off. Remember, he was accused a couple years ago of hazing, and he gets
Yeah,
a huge bag. He gets a settlement. He didn't know anything about it, and it was ruled that he didn't know anything about it. I still have my doubts. Okay, it's just football coaches know everything about what's going on in their program. Everything. Rick Pitino knew what was going on in Louisville, but he's still coaching. And the assistant coaches who got fired, they haven't been able to get back in the business. So now Nico's fired. And we'll see if he's able to get back in the industry or not. Or will he be blackballed now because of what happened in Dallas?
yeah, he's gonna have a hard time. I think maybe come in as in a junior position
Yeah.
because that's going. He has been hammered with that so hard, JD.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's hopefully he got a nice bag to go with. So
I hope so.
yeah,
I hope
yeah.
so.
Because man, you don't make that move without the,
No.
everybody knowing what was going on there, trading for AD, and you were talking about AD's 33 now,
Yep.
JD. So I was just thinking we were talking about the Olympics. I mean, my goodness. I mean, we got some good young players. Anthony Edwards, a good young player.
Oh, yeah. You got great
Cade
players.
Cunningham. But these guys, I mean, they're going to be neutralized unless maybe Cooper Flag develops over the
Yeah.
next couple of years. But yeah, we're in trouble in LA at the Olympics.
And that would be horrible, right? If in LA, in America, if the U.S. doesn't win gold on its home soil,
Yeah,
gets beat by some and the thing that happened is, way back in the day when the US would just crush everybody, all those countries, all those coaches took notes, and they would come over to America and they would learn the systems.
hmm hmm
They go system. They play more of a complete game than they do, because here you got AAU, right? The kids are all going through the AAU. Over there, they're teaching these guys the game, the whole complete game. They play Shea. Look at Shea Gilgis. He scores, but they play the overall play. These guys, Oklahoma City plays defense. Those guys, Lou Dort, those guys play defense. You don't see guys play defense like that in the NBA. You see a lot of guys just driving the lane, dunking. Back in the day when we were covering the NBA, guys just didn't drive the lanes like that and just,
No.
really no contact, no, just dive in and dunk. The game is totally different now. And the international players, they're taking advantage of that because they play the physical style
Mm-hmm.
overseas. And now they're coming here where, like, Jokic just toys with opposing centers. He just bangs them out the way and does his little baby hook and all his stuff, man.
And he's
It's a
jumping
joke.
this high off the ground.
He don't even jump.
So
It's a
there you
joke.
go, right there, man.
It's a joke to him, man.
Yeah.
And there's no. I mean, for a while, some people said Embiid. Remember, Embiid got mad the 1 year and he won MVP and blah blah blah. But what's happened since then? Unless he loses a whole bunch of weight, I don't know how much longer he's going to play because his knees are, and those leg injuries, foot injuries, he's shot physically, man.
Yeah. Hey, JD, speaking of your time, years of experience covering the NBA, I'm sure you had interactions with the great Lenny Wilkins.
Oh yeah,
Your thoughts on his passing?
it was funny. I was telling somebody about it. I thought about it when I was covering the Pistons. I can't remember everything about it. I think I look back on it. It was actually his last year with the Cavaliers, and it was a game I think it was still in Richfield, I think. And I remember going to
Middle of
his office.
nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Woo. That was out there, man. And I remember I think I was probably doing an advance on the game. And I remember sitting in his office and we knew each other a little bit. I remember him just pouring his heart out to me because I think he knew the axe was coming, that he was going to get fired. And I forgot. He just started telling me all these things. I was just kind of wondering why he was doing it. It felt like he needed somebody to talk to. And I thought about his career. There's a segment in our Mike Tomlin book where we talk about how black coaches are viewed, and we use the Breaks of the Game book. He was described in there as he coached Seattle. He coached Portland for a couple of years.
Yep.
He coached Bill Walton, but Bill Walton was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got fired. And he took it very personally because he was a black coach back then when black coaches were still trying to prove he was a great player. He was trying to prove he could be a great coach, and he felt very betrayed when he got fired by Portland, and how important it was for black coaches back then, how they were viewed, that they could actually coach, that they could actually teach, that they weren't just great athletes. So I always thought about that with him. He was very quiet, very dignified man, and I remember him as a player. He could penetrate with the best of them. Man. He could drive, dish it off. He was a great player. Great player.
I was talking with my great friend Ray Scott, former Pistons coach, first black coach to win the NBA Most Valuable Coach of the Year award in 1974. And what made me call Ray, I was just looking at some old clips of Lenny, and he catches Ray coming up to try to pick him up. And Lenny would like to go left.
Yeah.
And I said to Ray, Ray, you're a little late. Because he gave Ray a little stutter step, went by, lifted up over Jack Marion. You remember Jack Marion?
Yeah, had that stuff on his arm. He had some kind of rash on his arm.
Yeah, some kind of rash.
I remember that.
And Ray said, yeah, I knew he was going left. We always know he's going to get back to the left hand.
He could stop.
But you couldn't do nothing with it. He could still get there. But he was so
really happy for him. Remember when he won the championship in Seattle?
Yeah,
he won the championship in Seattle. I was very happy. There meant a lot to him, to do that, to come back, to bounce back, and win a championship at that time. I think it was Al Attles, it was Bill Russell, and I think Lenny Wilkins was the third. I think maybe the black coach to win an NBA title.
Yeah.
At that time,
this guy was a Hall of Famer as a player, Hall of Famer as a coach, and an Olympic coach.
That's right.
I don't know if there's anybody else that's done those three things. But what you said, uh, my interaction with him, he always, I think he always had a little more. I could tell he had a little more appreciation because I was a black sports writer.
Yes.
He never
Yes.
said anything about it, but
No.
you know what I mean? You kind of felt that
No.
synergy. He was going to give you a little more
I know
deference.
exactly what you mean. No, but what
He
I'll tell
give
you about
you,
the meeting I had with him in Cleveland,
yeah,
I sensed that we didn't really know each other that well, but I think there was something there, even though
yeah.
we really didn't know each other. So I agree with that. I agree with that
And,
comment,
and,
what
and,
you're saying about it.
and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier when we start coming through with so few of us
Yeah.
that you saw a brother there that connect. I don't know if these brothers, they see somebody now. I don't know if they say hello or what. But we were like, damn, man, it's good to see you, brother. I
That's,
don't, maybe they do because I'm not in that arena anymore.
well, I,
But
I,
he,
I, I, think- what I don't think they get, one of the tributes in my Tomlin book, I mentioned Ralph Wiley. I think about the great Larry Whiteside, um, worked
yes,
at the Boston Globe.
yes,
He was a guy that genuinely he had made it, right? He had made it. He was covering the Red Sox in
yeah,
Boston for the Boston Globe, a black reporter, and it was important for him to take that blacklist, that sheet of paper around the sports editors around the country and
yeah,
say, here's this young brother here in Detroit. Hey, there's this young brother here in Miami, and you might want to look at them. So it was a different um, vibe. I know when I first met Ralph Wiley, I had just started at the Lexington Herald Leader, and I did an assignment in Louisville. It was called the Derby Classic. It was an all-star basketball game. I went there, and I see this guy who I looked familiar, and it was Ralph Wiley. And he had just left the Oakland Tribune and had started working in Sports Illustrated. That was his first assignment, the Derby Classic. I think he did a story on Billy Thompson from Louisville.
great player.
And he didn't know me from a can of paint. And I remember after the game, we went back to the hotel, and he must have talked to me for 2 or 3 hours, just
Get at it.
talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Which
about. Yeah,
for a young guy, I was right out of college. You can imagine the impact that had on me, then and for future years. Maybe want to be a columnist. Just
yeah.
that he took the time to talk and to share. It meant so much. I don't, I'm assuming that still goes on today, but it was a
I
different vibe back then because there weren't as many of us.
right. Because you remember, we go to NABJ, man. I would follow Larry Whiteside around like a puppy, man. Just
Yeah,
trying to let me get some of what you got there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
They
And
were
Ralph
genuine.
Wilder,
They were genuine. They were
and
genuine.
Ralph Wilder was such a just amazing journalist.
Oh.
He is sorely missed.
Ralph Wiley, people forget. He they know him from ESPN. People forget. Remember, he used to be on NBC, dude. He was like the pregame NFL studio guy. Remember that? He was
Yeah,
in the studio before NFL games. He was in the studio doing NBA preview games. All the stuff you see guys do today, he was doing that back then, way
but
back.
but the thing
You know?
now, you were getting uh, 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 articulate, well thought out analysis. He wasn't in there trying to. He wasn't yelling and screaming. He wasn't.
No,
Some
no.
of the stuff I see now is performance to me.
Yep.
I, I I want some analysis. Tell me what's going on with these teams. I don't need the showmanship. I need the information.
And I don't agree with the argument that people say that's what people want. I don't think people know what they want. I think they want what you give them. If you give
Right,
them intelligent analysis, and I
right.
think they'll take that. And if you don't scream, okay, they can deal. That's okay.
Absolutely.
I think we shortchange the public. That they don't want that anymore. Well, they don't want it because they're not getting it.
I,
So they take what they get.
that, that is so freaking true, JD. That's why now, man, I tune in. What time the game on? 1 o'clock. Okay, that's when I'm tuning in. Cause I don't want to hear all the everybody's showing off, and I'm just
No,
not
no,
interested in that.
no. Now
That's
I don't mind laughing when Shaq tries to run to the basket and trips in the
yeah.
studio. Now,
I do enjoy
I
that
will
shit.
laugh at that. I will laugh at that. That's funny. I will,
But if you know, they market this show as really entertainment as much
yeah,
as
yeah.
basketball. Hey, but I've known you all these years, and I don't remember you ever telling me you worked at the Lexington Leader.
I think I look back on it. I think that was my best job, dude. I was just learning. I was covering high schools. Um, I got to go to Cincinnati and cover like Bengals home games and Reds home games. For a young guy who wasn't even
Yeah,
25 yet.
yeah,
I mean, that was just unbelievable.
yeah.
I remember one of the state tournament games, the final game was like 24,000 people at Rupp Arena. I mean, it was just like, it was the
Right.
best beat for a young guy who was just learning. I had beats covering small Division II colleges and basketball. It was, any assignment. I remember I went to the Kentucky Derby for 3 or 4 years. My first assignment at the Kentucky Derby was I covered the horse that finished last. That was my assignment. And dude, that was like, and the next day in the big Derby section that always won awards, there was my story. The last
That is
horse.
so funny, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always love going to Lexington. I always try to drive by that castle when I
Oh man.
when I come in there, and I think I stayed at the Hyatt across the street from the Rupp Arena. Those were
Yeah,
some
yeah,
fun
because
times.
it was connected, right? You could go.
Was
They
it
had the
right? It
hotel
was
that
connected. Yeah,
you could just walk right into the arena. That was so cool, man.
yeah, yeah. That was my days covering Tennessee basketball, and Wade
Yeah,
Houston, who was the
Wade
first
Houston.
black coach in the SEC, and his son Allen was his best player, and things didn't go well for Wade, especially when Allen left.
I covered Allen with the Pistons for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Allen
yeah,
was on the Pistons.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, good
I
brother,
got a
man.
funny Allen story that I can't tell you on the air. I'll tell you it one day.
Okay, absolutely. You're watching Harris and Hampton with Rockemore. Bobby's not here tonight. You're gonna get a chance to meet her. She's an outstanding attorney, practicing really all over the United States, Houston and Cleveland. We're going to use her insight because JD, so many stories in the world of sports now. You got to have a lawyer to talk about it, man.
Hmm.
All this off the court stuff. And we heard the other day about the pitching scandal with
Oh, yeah.
with
Were you able?
Class
Were you able to
A.
connect with Bobby? Were you able to connect with her? Did she have the? Is she able to get on? You know.
Uh, uh, no, let me see. I'm going to send this to her. Uh, hold on just a second. I just got her information. Uh, bear with us here. This is our first show, and we want to introduce you to Bobbi Roquemore, who will be joining us uh, week to week. Let's see. Hey, JD, who was your highest rated player? Can you remember going back to last year? Who
Mhm.
was the highest rated Tendex player in the NBA? And you also, Tendex also works for college athletics
Yeah,
or college.
college, and we'll get to women's. We'll get into women's sports because I basically handicapped the whole NCAA tournament last year, men and women's, and Tendex going into it had UConn as a far and away the best team. Wasn't even close,
I,
and
I
and
re-
they yeah
and I remember you telling me that. I'm like, bro, because South Carolina, man,
yeah
I remember you telling me that, but I was just thinking, wait a minute, this is South Carolina.
I
This is
know
my girl squad. They just
they
ain't
were
going
good.
out. They ain't going out like suckers. But
The
they
other
got it
team
put on.
just they were just that freshman who was just unbelievable. She had like almost the highest rate in the country. The Sarah Strong, the Strong. She had I had never heard of her before the tournament, man. I didn't really pay attention to it.
Right, right.
And when you start seeing that, you have to acknowledge its Tendex, its greatness. It's just so unusual. And it's no gimmicks. It just takes the pure numbers. But I think the difference between that and other systems that it factors in what that team does and what the opponents do. So you're getting everything. You're not just getting the player's stats. You're getting how his stats fit into his team. Now like Shea, if Shea's only playing 28 minutes or 30 minutes a game and averaging 30 points, his rating is going to be higher than a guy who's averaging 35 points, but who's playing 37 or 40 minutes a game because he's not playing as much. It's just an efficiency rating. So you have to base it off of that, which is like, wow, okay, he's producing just as much in a shorter amount of time.
And and
So
and, and the difference in this, because everybody always hears about analytics, JD. How do you
yeah.
think these break down differently?
Um, well, I think it goes. I think Tendex goes to the core. I think analytics is more, how many shots or how many passes they make on the left side of the court. How long does it take you to do this or do that? All Tendex does is look at the effectiveness of an individual basketball player or a team. That's all it does. You have to decide. Now, when I remember the great Will Robinson, I tried my best to get him to get the Pistons to use it, and I advised him on some players who I thought the Pistons should take, and I finally got Will to come around. He came to understand it, and I put him on to some free agent players that he didn't believe, and he saw that I said, hey, these are guys you need to look at, and I just tried to explain to him that Tendex is not to be used by itself. A team just doesn't go into the war room and say, okay, Tendex says this guy is number one, take him. Tendex is, you just factor that in along with your scouts evaluations, all the other things that you use. It could possibly be a deciding point if you're really having a problem with two players and you toss the Tendex rating into the mix. Maybe that'll help you decide, okay, we like this guy better. But Tendex is just a guide. It's just to help you make an intelligent evaluation of a player or a team.
Yeah, yeah. I'm checking here to make sure. Yeah, Bobby should have the stuff. Hopefully, she can join us for the final few minutes
Yeah, yeah,
of
definitely
the
want to get
show.
her on there.
Uh, let me see what else is going on here in the
Mm.
NBA.
So I know we wanted to get her on that baseball talk.
But did
We can
you?
always we can always do the old standby. The Colorado Buffaloes, man. I mean, they're
Wow.
always in the,
What
they're
what what
always
do you
out
think's
there in
gonna
the
happen?
news.
What do you think's gonna happen there, JD?
Uh, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think Coach. I'm going to start calling him Coach Sanders. You could call him Coach Prime. I'm going to call him Coach Sanders.
Yeah,
His
I
mama
don't.
named him. His mama named him Sanders. I'm going to call him Sanders.
Right, right.
So, so,
I'm with you
so
on that, bro.
yeah. So I think he's going to make a painful decision and get rid of some of his assistant coaches who he has personal relationships with. But I think he sees that he's going to have to bring in more teachers, more coaches who are going to really put in the hours and realize that they're working with young college athletes who need to be coached and taught and developed. And whether you have a gold jacket or not, it's not enough to say, this is how I did, this is how you need to do it. You got to teach. Coaching is not easy. Like Mike Tomlin's book, if you read it, he started out at small colleges doing the grunt work, the long hours. That's what coaching is. Your son is a coach, Rick. It's a lot of time that you have to put into it. It's not easy work. It's a sacrifice personally with your family. You got to put the time in. Show up at 6 a.m. and leave at 1 a.m. That's what coaching is, and he's going to have to get some guys like that on his staff.
You know what, JD? I was saying that the other day. I was watching Marshall Falk. I mean, Marshall Falk might be a great coach, but if he thinks that guy's going to play like he did, hey, dude, just make the guy miss, and just you can't do that.
No, I can't, coach.
What?
I can't do that. Sorry.
You got to give him a little something else, man. You got, and you're right. Technique and fundamentals are extremely important, and I actually think Deion's a good coach.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's fine.
He's an excellent messenger and motivator for that team. And what he's done out there, I think you're right. They're not going to fire him because, number one, he's made them a ton of money.
Yep.
And I see guys walking around with Colorado gear on the way I used to see them with Georgetown gear on.
Exactly. Yeah. And they could be that if they go on and have more success, because that's what Georgetown was. Georgetown was a program that everybody identified with all over the country. But if Georgetown had gone 4-17, it wouldn't have happened. Right. They were going to the Final Four. They could have easily won 3 straight Final Fours. I think people forget that. They were in 3 straight Final Fours, 2 heartbreaking losses in that 3. They could have easily won 3 straight national titles. Easily.
Speaking of Georgetown, another coach that would show you that deference as a black reporter was Coach Thompson.
Yes.
Coach Thompson.
He made you earn it, though. He made you earn it, though. But
he might call you a couple. He might put a couple of air belts on you. But yeah.
He made you earn it, but he gave you that respect.
Yeah,
he gave you that respect. But you had to. He wasn't going to give it to you. You had to earn it. But he was going to give you. He was going to give you that benefit of the doubt.
He was a good man. But JD, they are frying college coaches now like it's nobody's business. And I'm gonna give you my thought. I think it's because, hey, look, we done gave these kids all this money. Y'all need to win some games.
It's too much money. It's too much money. They can't. If you're giving this quarterback $4 million, they can't. These boosters and people that are pumping this money in, they can't afford that. You got to win, dude, or we're gonna move on. We're spending too much money on these guys now, and if you can't get it done, we're gonna get somebody in here that can, because we're just investing too much money. It's too much money, or the guys are getting out of the profession. They're getting out of it. They're getting out of college, because they say, I can't control these kids no more.
Yeah, Chip Kelly left to go be a coordinator.
Yeah, he was head coach at UCLA, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why Saban left, man.
Yeah,
man, I ain't recruit because now and even our viewers out here know who part of African American Athlete Network that my son Rickey Hampton Jr. is a college coach, and he has to recruit the kid, and then you got to recruit the kid the next year, because if he don't play 30 minutes a game or 40, I'm going somewhere else where I can play. I mean, some of the guys he's glad to see go. It's only a choice. But what he told me, JD, and I think it's happening everywhere, there's really everything has become transactional now.
Yeah.
Rick said, I can't really invest a lot in this guy in terms of his development because he might be gone next year. Everything's a year-to-year thing now. So, and that's the downside of that.
When I wrote my book with Edwin James, he's interesting. He had in 2022, right before the NIL really hit, he has 2 sons that played college. One played football at Hampton, one played basketball at Cincinnati. He talked about it. He said he didn't like it. He felt that it would take away, the kids would start, and I think he hit the nail right on the head. He felt it would start, the money would take kids' focus away from what was important. What was important was continuing to develop your game, because the real money was going to be over the rainbow, not in college.
Yeah.
The real money would be your pro career. And he felt that the more kids focused on that money and their parents focused on this money now that they were never getting before, they started to lose the sight of the big picture, which was a professional career and even more money.
But JD, on the flip side of that, I didn't like the old system where the coaches made all the money and they could leave
Oh,
and
yeah.
you were stuck. So it's got to be something in there
I don't know. Yeah.
that,
No, I
that
agree. I'm glad to, don't get me wrong. I'm glad to see these kids make this money. And for some of them, that's going to be the only money they really get because
right,
most of them aren't going pro.
right,
Most of these kids are not going to go to the NFL or the NBA. This is going to be it.
right.
So hopefully those that do get the money, they're able to put it away and invest it and have it go towards their future. So I'm happy for that. Whatever they're able to get, go for it. More power to them. But there's gonna be some stories of kids that made bad investments or trusted some financial advisors. Hey, pro athletes do it. College athletes are going to do that, mess
Yeah,
it up, because you got plenty of pro athletes doing that.
yeah. Hey, Hunter Dickinson played at Michigan, big 7-foot center,
Yeah.
and he's with the Pelicans. He may be with the G League now, and he was a good college center,
Yeah.
excellent college center, but he kind of knows his NBA prospects are
Mm-hmm.
limited at the very best of black backup. Bruh, he made as much money as he could on a
Mm-hmm.
collegiate level because he
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't know if I'm going to make money in the pros. He actually left Michigan to go to Kansas because
Right.
Kansas gave him a lot more money than
Yep.
Michigan would. Hey, I no more power to that guy, man. Uh, I lost it for a bit, JD. What did you say?
No, I didn't say anything. I was just listening. I
Yeah,
didn't say
yeah.
anything.
He's actually. I just looked him up. He's in the G League, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the Pelicans G League. So, but he made $3 or $4 million in college.
Yeah, I mean, and
Hey, I
that's
would
where I
take
think
that.
it's good.
I'd love to have that coming out of out of
Yeah,
school.
I think that's good. There's a good percentage of kids that are doing that. They're following that path. That they're never going to make that kind of money in the pros, especially in football, where the salary structure is much different than in basketball. Plus, in basketball, a lot of the money is guaranteed. In football, a lot of it's not. Uh, so
Yeah, absolutely. JD, we may have to catch Bobby next time because we only got an hour here
yeah,
and we are running out of time.
yeah, I
But
would
but hey,
definitely get
we're
back
going
with
to
you.
be on, and uh, I'll send a note out to my Facebook page and our YouTube page where you can catch us because I think we've had a just a tremendous conversation. See, me and JD,
Yeah,
we two couple of old dudes, man. We got a lot of good stories to tell. Uh,
yeah. I don't think there's enough good stories anymore. I
yeah.
don't think. I think people like good stories,
And
and yeah,
I'm sorry, JD, to cut you off, but not
no,
only that, I, I've always admired your journalism. You got a lot of great perspectives on things, and your insight is just off the chart. So we're gonna take advantage of that as we go through the weeks doing the show.
I mean, before we go, Mad Max, who I see now has made this new. People have brought him back. Vernon Maxwell. He's doing all those podcasts talking about how crazy he was.
Right?
And dude, I caught him in Florida. I could, I was
You
really,
can
we were really
vouch.
good friends. I mean, this dude was, he would. I don't think people could deal with him in the NBA today because he backed down from no one. He backed down. He didn't back down from Jordan, Magic. He was an all-state football player from Gainesville High
Did
School,
not know that.
and so you had those characters. You had a lot of characters back then. You had characters in sports, in the NBA, Olden Polonies, who are covered with the Pistons. That's great. We could just have a show. We just talk stories.
I covered
So
Anthony Mason at Tennessee State.
yeah, you
I,
boy.
I, I knew this guy. I said this dude could play, but Anthony was a really good baseball pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he was. He grew in New York City, and he wanted to play baseball. But guys kept saying, "Dude, you got taller and taller.
Yeah.
You should give basketball a shot." But I think I told you about the column I wrote. Will Purdue was over at Vandy killing people in the SEC, and Will Purdue was a good player.
He's a
I'm
good
not,
player. Yeah.
but I said Will is really good, but he ain't even the best player in town. Come over here to TSU, watch this dude Anthony Mason, because
Wow.
he was really spectacular at TSU. At that level, he could handle the
Yep.
ball. He could shoot. He shot it better in college than he did in the pros. But those are the kind of perspectives that I'm talking about, JD, that I think we can offer. And having Bobbi come in from time to time to join us is going
Yeah.
to be outstanding.
We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna have fun with it for
A-
sure.
a- Absolutely. Until next time, for my great friend JD Harris, I'm Rick Hampton. Peace, everybody.
Peace.